Well. Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday, July 15th, 6:34 p.m. Oh, I gotta be honest, I was very close to not streaming today. I was just catching up on some work. And so I was like so tempted to just be like, let me just crush through this work I have to do and also be lazy at the same time. Let's be real. But I am here for you guys, and I got a boost of energy last minute that told me like, yo, I have to be disciplined. And I mean, I enjoy doing this. I was just like weighing between doing some of my other non-stream work related stuff. Hey, my cat Kimpop says hi. But he's been sitting in between my two cameras. So thankfully, I guess I can catch him a little bit on this screen. But now, unless I readjust the camera angle here, I don't know if it's worth it. We'll see. It's all about making changes. Anyways, thanks for being here. Hey, yo, thanks for saying what's happening, or what WSG? What's going on? WSG Yobel. What's up, G? Is that what it stands for? Anyways, thanks for being on the stream so early, for being the first one in the chat, and thanks for saying that I'm your favorite streamer. Hells yeah. Yes. Anyways, welcome guys. I'm Yobel. I go by YobelPrize. I am streaming on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. So it's been about a year since I've been exploring the world of live streaming in addition to what I normally do. So just as that quick little update as for who I am, what I do, I'm a travel and wildlife photographer. I switched over to YouTube about a year and a half ago, and I do workshops. I work with Nikon mostly as far as like camera, what I shoot with, and we'll go into more detail about that as well later. What else to share? I started to get more into cinematography, and so if you want to check out my content, YouTube is the best place to go. My latest work is there. And if you want to see my very first short film I've ever made, and my only short film, it's called The Island of Second Chances. It's on YouTube. I hope you enjoy it. Anyways, my hair's a bit wacky today, so we got a little bit of a front-facing, what do you call that Japanese top knot? WSG is what's good. Oh man, I should have known that. I mean, I knew it was like some short form of saying like what's going on, but I just couldn't wrap my head around that. Damn. Well, what's good? All is good. I am good. Life is good. No complaints. Yesterday, by the way, we did accomplish what I set forth in my title. I said this was the final day of me editing chimp photos from my recent trip. And guess what? We did it. We crushed it. And by the way, was it yesterday? I don't know. Time is kind of blending in my mind. But the photos that were edited yesterday, they might be my favorite batch. I mean, there's definitely a handful from this that I think was like fantastic, including the one that you see right here. This is probably my favorite one. It was just like a, actually, can I show the original? Of course I can. Where's the original? Okay, so here's the original, and technically even this is not the original. The original was this size, right? And another thing I mentioned is that the photo from these series, usually when I do these like before and after shots, the before shots look so drastically worse than the after, mainly because I'm usually shooting in like the right balance. I'm usually exposing the shot correctly, so it's a bit flatter, lighter, etc. However, what I mentioned is on this day of shooting and across the Uganda trip, I was mostly shooting underexposed, which then lends itself to, honestly, like the moment you strip away a lot of the light, the shot ends up looking clean. It has made me realize a lot of my editing style tends to be just around reducing the light. It's like you capture your light, you capture your photo in a balanced way, and then in the editing process, oftentimes it's not about brightening the image. I'm usually darkening it, and I don't know how to square that hole, but it's just like a realization that from my perspective, usually when I dim the lights in my shots, the shot ends up looking more quote-unquote cinematic to me. So anyways, the original shot looks quite great already, in my opinion. But it was, yeah, so then I cropped it in, and then after we did all of our edits, this is what we ended up with. And this is probably one of the money shots for sure. Ao says it's crazy how, oh, hold on one second, Ao. We've got, man, it's been a while. This little guy hasn't come over to any of the beds in the past like week of stream, I want to say. Oh, well, there he goes. There's like a loud noise outside, and now there he goes. Kimbap, you're so close. You're almost there. What happened? What happened? You don't want to say hi to me, Kimbap? All right, well, we had him for a few seconds there, and now he's back to kind of in the middle. Ao says it's crazy how crowded they are at night. Also, oh, sorry, you said also the recent videos of Vietnam Street is crazy. And how crazy crowded it is. Yes, it was. Well, firstly, thank you very much for watching that video. I do appreciate it. It was, as I've been saying over and over and over again, I'm sitting on about, at this point, it's like a year and a half worth of travel photos and videos that I haven't been able to share with you all. So it's just all been sitting in my hard drives, and that's why I've been starting to live stream. It's why I've been doing this YouTube channel, is like I'm trying my best to start to showcase and like condense and find ways to share some of those photos and videos for you guys to enjoy, because I have captured quite a bit. I've stated before, I've captured like at this point, I think it's like 130 to 150 terabytes of travel videos and photos. So the Vietnam trip that I had posted, that was from the beginning of 2025. So a year ago, basically, a year and a half ago. I was taking a number of Nikon photographers with me as part of a Nikon Premium member trip, where I was like the photo leader. I had organized the trip with a local photographer there. And so we spent about 3 to 5 days exploring different parts of Vietnam. So it's a very, very rapid trip, very fast, very condensed. And that what I filmed and what I shared, that was from the very last day of that trip. A couple people who remained, we decided to grab drinks on that street. And I had the Nikon Z6 III. I'd been meaning to, it was like fairly new, like in terms of when I got that camera. So I wanted to get more practice with it. And I had a number of lenses that I wanted to test out as well. So I figured, let me just walk that street, do the exact same thing every single time, with the only difference being trying out with different focal lengths, and then always just trying to move forward, never stop. So sometimes I'll like slow down, sometimes I'll do like a 180 or a 360 as I'm panning around, but my goal was to never actually stop moving. I'm always trying to move forward and just capture like handheld, whatever I see. So I'm happy you liked it. It's honestly such a cool street. I would love to go back there. It was just like the chaos is part of the thrill, you know? AO says, for the dark contrast type of thingy, it's true. I sometimes darken my exposure to either negative 0.7 to negative 1.3. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there must be some kind of like, I say science, but there must be some rationale behind it. My thinking is, I think we tend to appreciate in art, we appreciate the play between light and shadows. So with that in mind, you can't have, how do you say? In order to have shadows, that means part of your image has to be dark, right? And in order for there to be shadows, there must be something light. So there's a little bit of contrast involved as well. I'm not sure, but I'm assuming when you're able to see that contrast between very well lit areas and very dim areas, sometimes that also allows our eyes to be drawn to where the light is. And there's something artistic about seeing something like that, but I wouldn't really be able to pinpoint it. All I know is I tend to underexpose my shots during the post. So yeah, we got average profile picture saying, I'm your first like on the stream. Yo, thank you very much. And you know what? I appreciate you for saying that, because I always forget to say it, but I mean, it feels weird to say it at random times. But anytime, if you're watching my video on YouTube, if you're watching the stream, whether it's during live or even after the facts, I always do appreciate if you like, comment, all of those things. They do, make a difference, especially for a small channel like myself. Every little bit counts. Sorry guys, my cats are going crazy. They're both staring at me in the living room like, well, I didn't do anything. I wonder if you can see them. You can kind of see. No, you can't. Average profile picture. Thanks for being here yet again. I appreciate that you are averaging every one of my streams. That didn't really make sense, but thanks for being here. AO says, I would sometimes edit. Yeah. I'm casually waiting for Yobel to do what I haven't seen him do or done in the past months. Yeah, okay, so one thing, I'm very excited, guys. AO says, looking at people's photos and videos. We haven't done videos in the past number of days because I've been trying to crush through these photos because I'm working with my editor right now. Dator says, hello, Yobel. Good evening. Guten Abend, Dator. Thanks for hopping in as well. I always appreciate that you guys all find my streams worth watching consistently. So, oh yeah, so the last few days I've been almost like exclusively doing photo edit mode. We're probably still going to be doing more photos because I'm working with my editor right now and we're putting the finishing touches on the first episode of a new travel series that I'll be posting on YouTube. Right now the titling is going to be called Expect Anything, Enjoy Everything. That's the name of my travel series. Just because I went to 3 different countries, right? In the past, this is from my recent March through April trip. I was gone beginning of March and I returned basically start of May. So it feels weird. Usually if I would title one of my trips, it would probably have the country's name in the title. But because this time we're like in 3 random locations, Uganda, Tanzania, and then Munich, Germany. Doesn't really, yeah, there's no synergy there. So anyways, my point is, I'm going to be publishing a number of episodes. And each episode probably will be anywhere from like 20 to 30 minutes even. We've got a lot of stuff to share. So I've been working with my editor to get the structure down, getting all the recordings, make all the tweaks. So I'm going to do the final tweaks now. And I hope that I will be able to publish the video in the next maybe 2 days, something like that. Maybe earlier, actually. So AO, look forward to that video. It'll be fresh in the sense that that was my most recent trips. And so we'll be kind of going chronologically from the beginning of my Uganda trip going off into Tanzania. So, and I've thought this through quite a bit. I have most of it down in terms of the high structure. It's just that every new episode I'd need to record the custom voiceover moments, some of the talking head moments to kind of tie it all up in a nice bow. But it's looking pretty clean. And these photos that I'm editing here, these will be part of those videos. So I'm going to be, as you see like my journey traveling through Uganda, let's say if we're on the episode around like the chimp treks, you'll be able to see the behind the scenes because I used a lot of action cameras this time. So you'll see like my point of view as I'm trekking through the jungle. And then when I see the chimp and you see me hit the shutter button, we'll switch right away between this like before shot and then hop right into the after shot. So I hope you guys will enjoy that. AO says, I sent 2 videos. One is meant for edit and one is for a 4K, but because of the sheer size, I just readjusted it to 720p. Are you talking about in the Discord? Hold on, let's open that up. So AO said, not really a 4K video, but it's an edit video. Now, if I play this, is there like a soundtrack issue I'll run into? I always run into these things. I guess it's not I just have to go and find it later. Give me a second. Let me click on this link, get it over to the right page. Okay, so this is a YouTube short. And you said face reveal. Is this the same link? Let me see here. Different link. Let's click both. This is supposed to be 4K, but I saw... Oops. Okay, I think I got it. You said this is supposed to be on 4K, but I saw the immense size. I decided to put it on 720. Yeah, I mean, if it's for YouTube shorts and stuff, generally speaking, you probably don't need 4K. I mean, it depends on what you're shooting, sure, but I mean, most people are going to be seeing it on a phone, right? So this is the 720 one, sir? What'd you, is this from, what camera did you shoot this with? I'm assuming because you're on a bike and it's a really stable shot. My assumption is like it's a mobile camera or like a smartphone or an action camera. Oh, but then it was blurry. It was like loading, so now it looks even sharper here. Those are both the videos. iPhone 11 Pro Max. Nice, nice. I would like, it'd be nice to go to Indonesia as well. I've never been, but I feel like this would be a lot of fun to do a lot of like street photography videos, like what you're doing. Jesus, it looks like you're about to get hit. So then, Ayo, I'll show you what I'm talking about for what... I'll give you a little sneak peek in terms of the style of... Yeah, this is the kind of chaos I thrive in this chaos. I find it's almost like meditative or therapeutic for me. You know, I had something like this in Vietnam. Not the trip that I posted recently, but from my first time in Vietnam. Wow, I didn't know you could post a YouTube short that's 2 minutes long. For some reason, I thought in my mind that shorts can only go up to like a certain duration. I saw the mistake at this part because the sun was so bright, I readjusted to make it a bit dark. Yeah, it looks good. One thing I'll say in terms of like my learnings, as I'm doing more stuff with video and like video editing, one thing I'm learning is that sometimes like we have a tendency to over sharpen our footage and over sharpen photos. And I think for both, I made this comment the other day as well. I think I'm learning more to like be comfortable with very soft images. Same thing with video mode. It's like sometimes it's okay to soften things because I do notice some of these buildings look super sharp, and it could just be a feature of like shooting with an iPhone, for example. But like the iPhone sometimes does a bit of like overcorrection on certain things, including sharpness sometimes. And I feel like having softer edges makes it feel more, I don't know, I'm not sure. Cinematic is like overused as a term, but that looks great. Were you driving or were you in the back of this bike? I'm curious. Because what could be fun is if you're driving, you know, you put the camera on like your helmet and get like that, like fully front facing. All right, I'm gonna be careful that I don't get best day ever. Nice, nice, man. Really cute, man. Good stuff. You were on the back of the bike? Gotcha, gotcha. Well, thanks for sharing, and thanks for sharing a bit of your life. It's always, you know, it's a, you know, putting yourself out there kind of a thing. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool that you have so many friends too. You know, don't lose sight of how valuable that is. You're gonna go, man. It feels great in some ways being the... Oh wait, hold on. Before I get into life story mode, I was gonna show you what I meant. Let's see if I can just show you. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so some of my upcoming YouTube videos, like I mentioned from this trip is in particular, the Uganda and Tanzania and Munich time, I had some action cameras set up. So right now, for example, I've got the Osmo Nano hooked up to my hat. So you get like a proper first person point of view. Wherever I'm looking, you kind of get a good sense of what I'm looking at. And so then this allows me to, especially as a solo traveler, I can now start showing you guys more of the behind the scenes. So like you can see exactly what I'm filming. So for example, if I'm filming the takeoff, you can actually see. And then because I have both moments, this means that I can show you the behind the scenes and then switch over to the actual footage that I captured full screen or whatever. So this will be the kind of style. Oh, hey, look who's decided to join us, Nala. All right, well, Kimbap's been swapped out with Nala. Good girl. Yes, yes. Good girl. All right, well, we got one out of the two hanging out with me today. Ayo says, I gotta go sleep since my span is short. No worries. Well, oh, new school too. Nice, nice, yeah. Listen, I appreciate your presence here. I hope you continue to enjoy my videos. Keep making your own videos as well. That's always good. But yeah. All right. Now, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, so this is what I've been working on. Yesterday, we ended up getting some really clean shots. Where did we start from yesterday? I think it was right around... Okay, so we did these ones the day before. And then it was starting from here. So this is the first photo we edited yesterday. Got some really clean results out of this. And just as a reminder in terms of my editing process, I tend to do most of my first steps within Lightroom using a mixture of my presets and then just doing some custom edits and masking. And then something I've been doing more recently is I've been using Dehancer. So I use Dehancer's third-party plugin. They have a plugin to all the editing softwares, but basically I use Dehancer to do like some additional color grading, especially when it comes to even adding like the film grain or other effects. And then I bring it back into Lightroom and do the final touches, if any. So that's been really fun for me. And you can see, you know, in terms of the before and afters, you get some really nice effect. And so one thing I've also been doing from a creative standpoint is I've been applying noise into my photos. So instead of going with the typical approach that I had, where I would have a very clean background, very glassy almost, you know, you remove a lot of the texture, so it's nice and smooth and blurry. I've been actually playing more with adding grain into the shots. So putting some texture in everywhere, but in a very, very uniform way, and in a way that kind of mimics a more vintage style. So that's been an interesting creative direction that I've been taking. We'll see how long it lasts. So now you can see all the before and afters, but yeah, I really like the approach to this. And like I was saying before, but this is the original photo. This is the raw shot. And again, compared to when I normally shoot in auto ISO and whatever, the raw actually ends up looking almost like it's in its final stage. Like if I had made 0 edits to this photo, besides cropping it or whatever, I would have been happy with this. I would have been like, hey, this feels like a right out of the camera, but it looks clean, no need for post. Of course I did, you know, go through the post, but one thing you'll notice here is there isn't really much of a difference in terms of the exposure on the chimp's face. Because when I took the raw photo, basically I was exposing just for his face. So I knew that everything else would look dim, potentially way underexposed. But in my mind, I was thinking, let me just shoot with the exposure based on the part of the face that I really wanted to be the brightest and like the focus, which is the face. So the face illumination is roughly the same. It's just more, I did some manipulation. Obviously I changed up some of the coloring, the textures, stuff like that surrounding the chimp. But we kept the dark, you know, we kept the dark perspective here throughout. Then I had some shots here of this chimp that was lounging. Then I think it's the same chimp, but then at one point it laid back on its back and then was just staring upside down at the camera. So I got to work on some of these photos. And then, as I mentioned before, this probably ends up being one of my favorite captures. Anytime you get action, like when obviously the chimp here is yawning, those are moments you always look for as wildlife photographers for any of the wildlife, right? You know, you think about Jeep safaris and you got a lion or a leopard or whatever, a hippo. You look for those moments when it yawns because it obviously it's showing some kind of action. It's doing something a bit more exciting, and it's, you know, they show off their fangs. It looks menacing. Even if they're just yawning, it almost looks like it's roaring at you. There's like all kinds of reasons why, but aesthetically it works out really nicely. This shot I probably won't really end up using because it's slightly blurry throughout anyways. Plus this is the one that we want, so. And then we've got a few more shots of the chimp kind of just hanging out in the forest. And then these shots, this one of these will probably end up being my hero shot. There's just something about the way the chimp is lounging in this part of the forest and the way the light was just, you know, like grazing and like brushing up on part of its face. It's a nice one in my opinion in terms of like telling a story. And then here when it's looking up at the light, again, it's like part of a storytelling mode, so I like these. And then staring into the camera, I went with the vertical approach for these. And then I didn't edit these on my stream because I was just doing some of these, like the shots of my guests. I did them off camera today, but technically these are done as well. Now the gorilla is right there. You just can't see it from the edits. You can see it now, barely. But we had the silverback gorilla hanging out right here, just near the riverbank. Man, this is what makes wildlife photography so much fun. You just never know what to expect, right? And, you know, it's addicting because you're like, oh, next time, what if it does this or that? So this time was, you know, we were very fortunate to have a moment where the gorillas came right up to the water. It crossed the river. It was just crossed too early, so we weren't able to really photograph it much. But yeah, then it hung out near the water. So then we literally, you can see my guests doing this, but we were just sitting on our asses in the water. So it kept us nice and cool. And for the most part, we had some moments where it was unobstructed. At the very least, we had some good eye level shots of the gorillas. But unfortunately, there's so much foliage still that it was pretty difficult to always get like clean shots. Even here, you can see that there's a bit of a leaf covering up his face right there. So it was a bit of a challenge, but part of me is like, man, imagine coming back and then on my next gorilla trek, we get like the gorilla sitting in the middle of the river. Holy. So imagine instead of being there, they just decide to hang out in the river area. The photos would have been like, psh. You just never know, you know, animals do random things. They're animals. So anyways, so these are some photos I jumped through. So really where we are in the journey is right here. So we've got the chimp guide, and then we're going to go through some of these photos. All right, here we go. Yeah. So we're going to edit through one of these. 1 second. Oh, and then separately, we've got some YouTube videos lined up. There's a new video from Gawk's Art. And of course, we all know him because he's got to be one of the best examples of YouTubers, like creative YouTubers. He might be like unmatched in that sense. So we'll see what he's up to. Last time we watched his video, he was talking about how he's trying to get into like making his own music beats and songs. So of course he is. Like, what can this guy, you know, he can do everything. Give me 1 second. Let me just grab something here. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Dun, 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 dun. All right, here we go. So we're gonna start with this photo before we get into the travel stuff. So this is technically, we're no more chimp photos today, but we got the chimp guide, if that counts. Let's play this video at the same time. Wait, how did you get the title showing up? Okay, so you just had an abrupt, small text in the center saying prologue. I'm taking mental notes for my own videos. Like, I always do appreciate seeing how other creators do their openings.
Both of my parents are musicians. My mom started playing the violin when she was only 3. My dad began playing the clarinet when he was 13. They met at my hometown's Philharmonic Orchestra.
Wow.
And eventually, they had me. It was only natural for them to try to make me a musician too. And respectable how they accepted that my musical talent wasn't very strong. But their efforts weren't completely in vain. Because 20 years later, I picked up the synthesizers for the first time. Due to my poor musical knowledge, I barely know what I'm doing, but I still use them every day. And while they may not turn me into a great musician anytime soon, at least they made me discover one.
You know what? Even just listening to this, he does give me some level of hope. I say hope. Hope's the wrong word, but I think he's living proof that you can do whatever you put your mind to. That's not even a good example because it's like, it's not to take away from his talent. I guess what I'm saying is like, it's cool seeing people who jump into other creative pursuits and pick it up, right? So him going into music, saying he hasn't really done that himself, but it's like the quality's amazing. And I'm sure he's put a lot of time into it, but it's like, you know what? I've kind of gone through my own journey of that as well, not to his level of mastery, but I genuinely do believe that more of us should feel like we can pick up random stuff if we feel like it. So like, oh, if I'm not, if I didn't study anything about design, it doesn't mean you can't go into that field. Or if, I didn't go to film school, I didn't, take classes on photography. Yeah, there's no reason why you can't pick it up yourself. So anyways.
Like my parents, started when he was very young. First with piano, then drums and guitar. But when he turned 14, everything shifted. He used Logic for the first time, a digital audio workstation. And well, he never stopped. Eventually, he would meet the pioneer of ambient music, Brian Eno.
I mean, I'm very flattered to be called a mentor of someone whose work I like a lot, but actually it worked both ways around. I started listening to music differently when I watched how Fred was making it.
Fred would begin his journey working as a producer and writer,
Wait,
collaborating
is
on a range of
dad,
music
like,
with
famous?
different artists. Even if you hadn't heard his name, you had heard his sound. But in April 2021, that would change forever. Fred would release his first solo album, an intimate, raw, and vulnerable project. He would sample real moments and create music with them. Fred had
Who's
found
this
his
guy?
voice,
It's really good.
and it would only evolve from there. He would release 2 more editions of Actual Life,
Great
and
virtual
in
copy
between,
for soft.
he would play a DJ set in London's
What is this?
Boiler Room.
Did Lightroom go through an update? I've never seen this. Or maybe I hit a button because I've never seen this thing on the top here. Create a virtual copy for soft proofing. This allows you to preserve your previous settings and create a new rendition tailored to this color profile. Undo. Huh. Okay.
Fred had
did I
put
hit-
his name on the map.
I am a part inside of my head,
He continued experimenting with his sound.
inside of my home.
In 2023,
Hold on. Did I hit some? One thing I really despise about Lightroom, they have all these shortcuts. They have way too many shortcuts. You hit any letter on the keyboard, it's gonna do something, and it's so annoying. So even now, I feel like it's put me in some kind of a mode called, I don't know. I've never seen this thing pop up before around proofing. Process version. What are we doing here? What's going on? Proof settings. I've never seen this before. This is annoying the shit out of me. Okay, we'll keep going and see if anything else breaks.
he released Secret Life, an ambient record with Brian Eno. In 2024, 10 days, pushing his sounds and collaborations
the
even
heck?
further. At the same time, he kept releasing tracks that didn't belong to any album. Different moments, energies, and processes. Eventually, they took shape as USB, a project designed to grow without limits.
Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna
And in
restart
September 2020,
Lightroom. I don't know what maybe it's this maybe it's that adaptive color whatever the thing we learned yesterday's stream. But whatever it is, it's causing some annoying things. So let me just restart Lightroom. And then we're going to try again. Hopefully no issues. Yeah, there we go. So now, see, this is what I'm usually seeing is like it says histogram here, not soft proofing or whatever.
25.
Ready?
Yeah, we're rolling. Hold the button in the air and press it in 3, 2.
They proved the scale of it. For the past
Ayo
9
says he's
weeks,
back.
Fred has released 9 new songs for the USB collection, launching each track during each week's show, one CD at a time. He and
Welcome back, Ayo. I'm starting my editing process now. So I'm just editing through the first photo here of this head ranger on her walk.
the crowd are under a giant piece of fabric that feels like a living creature. The cover artwork for each week's song is captured there. But one was missing: the closing show. And the announcement went up. Mexico City, my hometown.
Oh snap.
This was my chance to finally get a glimpse of Fred's world. And if I got lucky, to even see what goes on.
So wait, Gox is
Behind
from
the
Mexico
sound.
City? question. Do you think Gox himself filmed this? Or if he just got the footage, he got access to the footage? If he filmed it himself, which I have no reasons to doubt, I mean, how amazing is that? And I mean, he's doing all, he makes it look so epic, filming behind the scenes. AO says, also being a solo traveler is kind of fun, but if you have friends that could help you, it makes it more fun. Like, it feels like that they're a part of something you could achieve. Yeah, for sure, for sure. That's one thing. None of my friends, not a single god dang one of them, at least my close friends from, you know, whether it's university or work or whatever, none of them do photography. None of them do film stuff to the extent that I do. Yeah, so it just meant that every time I do these travels, it wasn't like we're on the same path. We're not on the same journey. We're not trying to create photo film moments or things like that. So unfortunately, it just means that whenever I go on my trips, it's not really for them. It's only for me. And that is one thing I say it so many times on these streams. Every time we're watching a video of like a travel crew, or if it's like two buddies with their cameras, or if it's a couple and they're, you know, but they both take photos and videos, I'm like so jealous of that, man. So jealous. It's like, damn, you had someone with you who could just like turn the camera or film you doing the moment, like you shooting the moment, or you shoot them taking the moment, or, you know, you can talk to each other without holding up a selfie moment very awkwardly in a cringe way. Yeah. Very, very jealous of that. But listen, the more I do this, I'm hoping we're slowly getting to a point where, you know, I mentioned on my last trip in Tanzania, they had a film crew, or they had a film part, like a traveling partner for a couple days who filmed me when I was doing the workshop. That was great. Yeah. And then some people might join me in the future trips. We'll see. But man, I'm jealous. AO says, I just came back only for a bit so I could ask myself one more question. How do you get your songs again? I'm intrigued to get those songs because I'm planning on doing some shots and videos of trip. Yeah, I'm happy. I think it's !music bed. However, it does cost money, but there is a 14-day trial with 3 free licenses. So you can also like feel free to try it out. You at the very least can download 3 of the, you know, whatever songs you end up wanting to use. You can download 3 for free and use it for your videos without any issues. So if you just use the link that I sent, and then you'll have 14 days to like test it out further. But it is a paid video, or it's a paid subscription or paid platform. So, you know, it's unfortunately not a free thing to make use of. Well, thank you for asking. And I do hope if you test it out, that you'll enjoy it.
So I drafted an email. There was nothing to lose. Would
Oh
they
my
read
God.
it?
Sorry, because I've put a note to myself. I still haven't done it. But the fact that he's doing this makes me, I mean, obviously he's got a lot more reach and pull and everything. But I've been meaning to just like do some cold emails to other creators just to see if they would want to collaborate with me or work with me in the future. And I haven't done that. And watching him do this and film himself doing it makes me realize how inadequate I am. Damn it.
There was nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose.
Would they read it? It wouldn't take long for me to find out.
You've got mail.
Well, yeah, he's Gox. Who would
That
say
it
no?
worked.
If I send an email, they'd be like, who the hell is this kid?
Turns out, Fred arrived in Mexico a couple of days before the show. He seemed to have no concrete plans. So I ended up following him and his team everywhere they went.
Oh, that's what I want to do.
The show was the final destination. Everything leading to that moment would be discovered along the way.
Wow.
I first met Fred here, at the studio, where he and Latin Mafia, a trio of brothers who have created an unmistakable sound with risky textures, rhythms, and lyrics, were jamming and bouncing ideas at each other.
I love this kind of stuff. I hope to do stuff like what he's doing right now, this kind of like documentary style, behind the scenes, capturing people, you know, doing whatever the focus is. This is fantastic, and like he clearly has a good eye for like capturing these moments, putting it together as a story. Gox is you know, at the top. I do wonder what he's using though. Like, what is he filming with? Is he using a gimbal? What kind of microphone?
I think I get it. I think I get it. I think I get what you're saying. Well, that's fresh. Let's just try one take on it. And then we'll...
Por favor, vuelve a estar.
Uh-huh. Something like that.
Solamente tú y yo.
Try it how it comes most naturally to you.
Man, I just want to be surrounded by creative people nonstop.
Now, music making wasn't the only pleasant problem that needed to be solved. There was another one that troubled Fred and his team months before they even got here. Instead of concert halls, Fred's shows happen in airport hangars, film sound stages, and warehouses. For 4 hours, Fred gets surrounded by the crowd. There are no screens. The show goes non-stop. They needed a way to transform the space. So they contacted him.
Now, quick pause. I think we're done with the photo. I'm really happy with how this is looking. It's got a nice punch to the shot. So I am very pleased with this. And just to see, let's go ahead and look at the... I'm going to go look at the before and after. So usually what I do... This one, I don't think I even cropped, did I? No. Oh, wrong one. Okay, so what I'll do is copy this. Okay. Then I'm going to reset. There we go. So there we go. So we got a proper before and after. This was the original shot. And then here's what we ended up with. Now, this is again a big shout out to Nikon, right? And also just like in general, the modern era of cameras, the low light photography is excellent on these guys. Yo, is that Honyasu? So we got every time I see these Japanese symbols show up, and that's it. I don't even see your name, but I believe it's Honyasu saying what up. Well, hello. Thanks for being here. Long time no see. AO says, looks good, but I like the shadows a slight bit lighter here. Remember that we have a different taste. No worries. I like your opinion. I did mention I've been going super dark with it, but I take what you say into consideration. Maybe I will lift a little bit, because the thought did cross my mind that it's pretty dark on the bottom half. So maybe we'll lift it up slightly. But yeah, what I was going to say, Honyasu asked, how is life? Life is good. It's very good. I mean, I've just been kind of busy doing the same thing every day for the past couple weeks or so. I'm editing my photos, but I am working on some upcoming YouTube videos. So hopefully, Honyasu and everyone else, feel free to make sure to turn on the notification bell on my YouTube channel. Hopefully, it'll come out in the next 1 to 2 days. It'll be the first episode of like a travel series from my most recent 2 months traveling through Germany, Uganda, and Tanzania. And that's why I'm editing these photos. Some of these photos will be in the upcoming episodes. So I'm trying to, it's like keeping me on my toes to get all the work done. What do you think of the Nikon Z30? I like it. I think I've been able to test it from my recent Tanzania trip. There was a bunch of Nikon cameras that the company rented, and then all the safari guides were exchanging, practicing with all of them. And the Z30 was pretty powerful. If I remember, you know what? Don't quote me on this, but I think it has I think it's APS-C, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I apologize. I can't really give more detail, but I think I've shot with it and I did enjoy it. AO says, continuous of the motorcycle thing, I fell in love with biking and danced with death. Yeah, listen, biking is it's one of those thrills that you see people doing it and it looks like such an amazing time, but you also know that there's so many horror stories that comes with biking. You are flirting with death every single time. It doesn't matter how safe you are, it's about how reckless other people are. You're sharing the road with strangers. And amongst those strangers are people who don't abide by the rules, you put your life in danger that way. I say this, I feel like an old man saying this, but I just knew, and I've known enough people in my life, and I've known of one or two who've had stories about, like, related to, like, biker, like, stuff like that. Anyways, one thing I wanted to mention with this photo before I lose my train of thought. This is how I shot the photo originally. And if you look at the histogram on the right, most of the pixels are super dark, right? It's all hugging the left, if not pitch black. So this is what my camera saw. And according to my camera, there's definitely areas that were basically pitch black. And it's a lot, like, if you see this through the sensor or like when I'm taking the shot, you're like, ooh, I hope I get the shot and it looks okay. Because it's pretty dark. But thankfully, the power of the Nikon ZR is that it is very powerful. And so I was able to lift the shadows enough to eventually get the shot that we have here. But as AO was saying, maybe I will make a bit of an adjustment here. So I think I won't go as bright with it. So we're gonna dim it down just a bit on the top. And then I will lift up a little bit on the bottom. Honyasu, how are you doing? Hope all's been well. Just give me a second as I multitask here. So we'll lift up the shadows a bit. And then sometimes I like to just lift the black as well. Just slightly. Okay. There we go, before and after. Now the cool thing is, because in this shot I wanted the foreground to be nice and bright, mainly because it helps to create a silhouette of the subject in this case. And also because I was shooting at 1.2 aperture, with all the light peeking through the trees, it almost looks like, it's very cool. You get this nice bokeh effect everywhere, all these bokeh balls. So yeah, it just makes it a little bit more punchy cinematic. Honyasu says, okay, I have the budget in about 3 to 4 months from now. Wonder between brands. Ooh, interesting. Okay, well, I mean, you've come to a Nikon stream, okay? So you know what advice I'll give. But you can't go wrong. Listen, Nikon's been on the up and up. AO says, I went 90 kilometers per hour, which is 55 miles. Okay, man, just stay safe. Especially, I don't know what the road conditions are where you live, but yeah, it's a bit, things are chaotic on the roads, man. Okay, so that photo looks good. And do we want to edit these ones? Let's see. So we got this. Let me color code. Next shot. I think I'll edit this one. Yeah, we'll edit all of them. I want to see, though, if I can just copy and paste my edits from the other ones. Let's see. Honyasu says, doing good. This Monday was the first day of the school year. And, oh, yeah, damn. Wait, July? Okay. For the first week, we have orientation week. I'm in Human Relations Department, HR. Need to document the orientation every day and upload a video and photos every day. Okay. Well, nice, man. Well, welcome back, I guess, to the school year. It must be exciting. I miss school. Everyone's got obviously different experiences, but in the same way that we always used to say YOLO, you only live once, in some ways you only go to school once. What is that? YOGTS. Yots. Yeah, it doesn't work. But you only go to school not once, but only during your formative years. And during that time, that's when you can meet. You'll have so much fun experiences. You'll have some bullies. You'll have some bad. You'll stress out. You're growing and all that. But like, schooling, I do miss it at times. I'm tired, says Sonyasu. My school using the Sony A6000. It is ass. Yo, don't speak ill of the Sony A6000. Okay, that was my very first camera that I ever shot with. Ayo says, looks nice. No need for the vibrance, to be honest. I hear you. I think I'm sticking with it for just that shot. By no, I meant no need for more. Yeah, gotcha. 1 second. Yeah, Honyasu, I forget if you've been here before when I was going through some of my very first photos I've ever taken. But my first shots were all with the Sony A6000. And some of these shots I mentioned before, but like I was shooting in JPEG only because I didn't know about changing the settings. And Honyasu, you say you're a teacher. Okay, fair enough. Different phase. I was gonna say human. When you said you're working in the human like HR, I was like, huh, is this like some interesting, high school seminar where they teach you about the? I couldn't make sense out of that, but anyways, these are all shot with the Sony A6000. I mentioned before on stream, but I think at some point I want to actually go back to I want to hopefully find all the original photos. I should have all the raw photos from back here. I think it should be on one of my hard drives. I would love to make a YouTube video about it as well, where I just go back into all of my oldest photos and try to re-edit some of those photos and see what new results I can get. And how different is my editing style now compared to at the beginning? Because it would be cool. Like there was, it was many years ago when I started, but when I was first starting photography and I was editing these photos, I was so over the moon. I was so excited. I was so proud of these photos. I was so like, I was just amped up. I was like, man, I love photography. Look at this photo I took. And that's when you start sharing it on Instagram, things like that. You're like, oh my God. And it's so funny, right? Because now I look at some of these photos and I'm like, what was I thinking? This looks so nasty. This looks so boring or, normal. But it was, it's, I'm not trying to knock my younger self, but it's fun to see how much we grow. And it sometimes takes you doing the wrong thing. Sometimes it takes you experimenting and destroying images. But it's kind of fun to see the entire journey of how we evolve as creators. Oh, yo, we got Josh Warner in the chat. Hello. Happy Wednesday to you. Long time no see. Honyasu said, I haven't seen the Uganda. What do you mean by that, Honyasu? I haven't seen the Uganda. 90% of the time I use it for video. Gotcha. Oh, the Sony A6000? Yeah. Josh says, sup, Yobel. As we progress, we get harder and harder on ourselves. It's the artist way. Yeah. I'm definitely my biggest critique. I'm my biggest hater and lover at the same time. But yeah, I don't say that in the negative way. I say that with, it's like, I've learned a lot throughout the process. So yeah, it's on my backlog. I would love to go back in time and just like see how I improve some of these photos. And you know what? There's a high probability some of these photos I'll go back and try to re-edit, and I'm gonna figure out that the way I edited back then was the best way. And that'll feel good too, because like, okay, I had these sparks where my creative thinking was excellent. It was on point this day, and then the other days it was shite. But this is in Alhambra, or I forget where, somewhere in Spain. Sony is memory lane, but yeah. So a lot of these were Sony A6000. These were all shot with D810, Nikon D810, but the very beginning ones were all Sony. But for today, we're going back into Nikon ZR. Josh, It's been a while since you've been here, I believe. So since you're here, I figure I'll just quickly, because it's not too many of these. I'll show you what we've been working on over the past number of days. And I'll show the before and afters. Why don't I? All right, so this is what we've been working on. These are photos from my most recent trip to Uganda back in March. I went twice in March, one with CNN. So I've spoken about this plenty. I haven't been able to show it properly yet. I haven't shown the behind the scenes from it, but I had this really cool project with CNN Create in partnership with the Uganda Tourism Board. And so it was about like 4 to 5 days where we filmed across Uganda with this like famous musician named George the Poet. And he created a poem about Uganda, and then we just like film things to put it all together for a 60-second advert that goes on TV. So that was really cool. My first time on such a professional project, and those guys were shooting with like Sony a6000 and, sorry, not the Sony a6000, Sony FX3 and FX6. Josh Warner says, I'm working right now, so I'm here. I'm mostly here for the audio. Oh, no worries, no worries. That's why I figured I'll talk through it. I can glance, though. Honyas says, A6000 white balance is not consistent, even on the auto white balance. Post-processing is hell. Yo, don't get me started. The amount of time I spent in post trying to correct for certain things, especially I remember purple, like that purple fringing was like pretty drastic on the Sony a6000. And so I spent so much time in post having to correct for it and brush it away or just figure out how to deal with it. But that was also when Lightroom wasn't as powerful with all the AI technique, all the features and stuff. So I don't know. It's probably easier these days. That bird is big. Yeah, this is the shoebill. I think it's over 1 meter tall. It is really cool to, you know, see this face to face. It's that bird that went viral on YouTube. Yes. This bird went viral for my TikTok. Of all the platforms for it to go viral, I would have obviously preferred YouTube at this point. But yeah, one of my videos went viral about this shoebill, and it got me like 100,000 followers and like 20 million views on that one video. So the power of that bird, it is fascinating. It is fun to shoot. It's not all, you know, excitement. A lot of it's just sitting in this boat and waiting, and just, you know, the bird could just stand there motionless for like 30 minutes, you know. It's got that capacity. So a lot of photography, especially wildlife and landscape, a lot of photography is just around patience, right? You have to just hold it. But yeah, so these were some of the photos I've been editing throughout the past week and a half. And I mentioned, while usually I'm spending time editing videos, it's been kind of fun to go back to my roots and edit photos, especially with the new workflow. I've mentioned that I've discovered Dehancer not just for video, but I've been using Dehancer as part of my color grading for photo, and the results have been phenomenal. Like you see it on all these shots. I've been applying Dehancer as the final part of my workflow on all of these photos that you've been seeing. So I stand by it. And so if you want to use Dehancer, there is a command for that. Hold on, what is it? !Dehancer. Gets you 10% off if you use YobelPrize. Josh Warner says there's an entire Facebook page that is photographs of mostly that bird. Yeah. I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, I feel like there should be whole Bibles on it. Oh, speaking of which, oh shoot, I hit a button again. Okay. Speaking of which, there's a Instagram channel called Nature is Metal. Some of you guys might have seen it before because they usually show very gruesome shots and videos of the wild. But they did reach out to me recently asking if they could put one of my shoebill stork photos in their photo book. And so I said, yeah, why not? Why not? And so, yeah, like they made a post a few weeks ago and they used my photo as like the main cover image. So that was pretty cool. And it's of the shoebill stork. So I was like, all right. It's called Wild Frame AI Photographs. Oh, okay, interesting. Wow, they're just like, wait, these are photographers who are just embracing AI to make up wildlife shots? Oh, boomers think it's real. Gotcha. Sorry, I missed one of your messages there. Hold on. I didn't see you say AI photographs of mostly those birds. Maybe I said it out loud, but it didn't register. But the thing is, you don't even need... The funny thing about this is, why would you need to use AI? This photo, this bird is so goofy looking, so prehistoric, and like looks like some ancient dinosaur, that just showing a normal video of it, most people would just be like, oh, this is like a made up animal, you know? So no AI needed. It's someone who's taking advantage of people. Gotcha. Ao says, I'm going to go to sleep. Thanks for the conversation. Thank you again, Ao. I appreciate you being here. Josh says, and claiming they are real photos. Gotcha. They don't actually use AI to aid the photo. They just create it from scratch with AI. Well, hopefully they're not using my photos to... what the heck? Oh. Hopefully they're not using my photos to create them. So yeah, these are some of the photos from the first few days of the trip when we went out for the shoebill stork. I took a couple photographers with me on my photo tour, and then we went for 9 days across Uganda. This is the next day when we flew across to a different national park, Chibale National Park, and then these are just some shots from the road. And so these will all be a part of my upcoming travel vlog episode, so I'm very excited for you guys to watch it. The first episode, I'm putting a timer on myself, but hopefully it should come out in the next couple days. My editor just gave me access to the project file. We've already gone through all the review cycle. So ideally, what's going to happen, because before I've been working with my editor for the past few months now, but this is the first time he's helping me with like a proper travel vlog series. And so instead of sending him all of my 4K footage, which would be way too much, I sent him a bunch of 1080p proxy files. And so then the hope is that once it's in almost final stage, he can just send me the project file and then I can swap out the proxies. I make it sound easier than it actually probably will be. So on that note, I might also end today's stream a little bit early just to review that. I'm not sure. Josh says they don't actually use AI to aid the photo. They just create it from scratch with AI. Okay. No, but I'm saying like usually you hear... I mean, the cat's out of the bag kind of a thing, right? But I'm assuming all of these AI programs, it's kind of like created its brain by scraping the internet. Because like, isn't there always the running joke that ChatGPT is basically just Reddit being reformulated back at you? So it's like it used a lot of forums and information that lived in Reddit subpages to then create its like a knowledge base. Honyasa says the amount of green. Yes, the forest here is like insane. So you can see now we're getting to chimpanzees. So these shots actually turned out better than I expected because I was shooting straight up into the sunlight, into the canopy. It was very backlit, but I was pleasantly surprised. And of course, I ran all of these through Dehancer. So a lot of my photos are going to be more texturized in the sense that I've been applying a bit of grain effect to it as well. And then I've been mixing for the animal shots. I haven't done as much of the crazy like Fujifilm or the Kodak Aero. What is it? Like the print profiles. And the best shots, or some of the best shots, were of this chimp. There's some shots here where you see the chimp together. So we'll see how it looks as the before and after. We got some action shots when it was walking past me. Then we got a close-up of the chimp. And then these ones are the ones that I edited yesterday and we were talking about at the start of the stream. But of these shots, I think the best one is... where is it? This is one of my favorites right now. It's like a super close-up shot of the chimp when it was yawning. And I struggled with the composition, but when I kind of leaned into this, it turned out amazing to me. So, and then this also could be the hero shot where we have this chimp lounging kind of like, you know, in a casual pose, but and looking behind at me, like not a care in the world, this guy. No feeling of threat. It's just like, all right, oh, is that a human behind me? What's going on? It's such a casual pose, which I really wanted to capture. And so you can see the before and after as well. It's you know, I did quite a drastic change there. So different poses, and that's it. And then for today, we've been working on this shot of the head ranger, And that's all. Wait, that's all I worked on today. Jesus. Okay, I haven't done much. But don't worry, we're proceeding. What's the next photo I was gonna edit? This one seems very dark, but we'll see. All right, we're gonna continue now. Honyasa says, how did you make sure when you're taking the photos you won't get attacked by the animals? I did get attacked by the chimp. I think a couple weeks ago, I shared with you guys a few of those shots. It is kind of crazy. I had here, you know what? I'll show it to you guys. It was very, very fun. And this was completely my fault. I was a little too close to, I was a little too close. Let's see if I can show it to you. It was from the first day of the chimp trek. I have it on like 3 or 4 action cameras. So hold on. Let's see if I can walk you guys through it. So these are the 1080 files, so forgive it's not the best resolution. I think it's a video that plays for like 8. Oh, here we go. Okay, so this is this was shot from my Nikon ZR. So it was just me hand holding the camera moving forward. So it's going to be very shaky. I was just hand holding, and you're like crashing through the jungle. You know, you're trying your best to keep up with the chimp. And I just wanted to be known, I was always just following the instructions of the guides. So, you know, I wasn't doing anything I wasn't allowed to. They basically told me from the get-go, and I've done this before on a number of the others, they basically say, like, if the chimp starts walking, you can follow the chimp. You're just like, you know, it's like these guys are so habituated, it's fine. However, with that in mind, I definitely did get a little too close at one point, and it was more that I stepped on a branch that, like, made a loud snapping sound, which then frightened the chimp, which made it react. Anyways, so I just want that caveat there. So I was following this chimp for several minutes. And the cool thing is, obviously this will be in one of my upcoming YouTube videos, but I have this shot on the Nikon ZR, which I was hand holding. I have it shot from the Osmo Nano, which is one of the action cameras that was hooked up to my hat for like a first person point of view. I also captured it on my shoulder mount, where I had a DJI Action 6, which was facing forward, and I captured it on the Osmo 360, on a 360 camera, which is hooked up to a camera on the front of my chest. So it was like a bit overkill, but I had like multiple angles of this chimp attacking me. Okay, let's find it. All right, it should be coming up here somewhere. Don't mind my heavy breathing. Listen, I've been chasing after this guy. I'm out of shape. It is what it is. Oh, I skipped the moment. Whoops. So it happened earlier. Where was the moment? Oh, no. Okay, it's after this chimp. So there's this moment where the chimp paused, and then it continued walking, and then when I was following it in that stretch, it freaked out at me. So you can see I'm pretty close, and the chimp literally does not mind. Even after it attacked me, it didn't care. Like, it just, like, it wasn't a real attack. Here it comes. Yeah, it's just that quick moment. And look at it. It's already moving back. It's even farther away from me than where it started. So, you know, obviously I'll slow it down in the actual video when I play it. But basically what happened is I stepped on a branch right around there. It got startled from the sound of that branch. And the way the guide was explaining it to me is that the chimps in the wild, they're really smart, right? It's our closest relatives and all that. But they know how to use tools. And they oftentimes will pick up sticks. I've actually recorded it before. They pick up sticks and they'll hit each other with it. So when this chimp heard the sound of that, you know, the stick snapping, what she was describing to me was like he might have thought that I was about to attack the chimp with the stick. So it was like instinctively when it heard the sound of that snapping, it thought that, you know, someone was approaching him with a branch. So anyways, so it snaps, it jumps. It was so frightened, and then it like jumped forward, and then it went past the tree. Then it used the same tree to launch it forward straight at me, and it had to get through 2 other trees in between us to try to swipe at me, and it just narrowly missed me. You can see it on the Osmo 360. There's a really cool angle where you can see how close its fingertips were to actually hitting me. But man, just like look at that face. That was like something insane. Crazy times. The adrenaline peaked. Yeah. Nightmare fuel. Not so much. I mean, like I was definitely, you know, I was. What do you call it? I don't know. The adrenaline was pumping for sure. But like, I do mean it when I say these chimps are generally, I mean, yeah, they could rip me apart if they wanted to, but they're so accustomed to humans. It's part of the whole like acclimation, what's the term? Habituation process. And as long as you're not doing something annoying, like once it realized I wasn't actually a threat, once it realized that sound was not something to be afraid of, that's when it just kind of went back into normal mode and just literally just kept walking a second later, right? Freaks out, jumps, and it's already just going back. So it's just like it was just more annoyed by me than anything. Hojasa says nightmare fuel was the yawning chimp. Oh, the photo. Yeah. It's a crazy shot, right? I'm really happy with it. So anyways, I have that moment on a number of different camera angles. We're going to get to it. It's one of the, you know, videos that I'll be working on fairly soon. So look forward to that. But yeah, it was good times. All right, we need to edit the remaining shots here. So what I want to do is ideally I just want to copy and paste all of these edits together. And then let's keep watching this YouTube video.
Boris Aket is a Dutch artist who creates pieces with light and motion. For USB 2, he came up with a breathing roof, a fabric structure designed to evolve with the show and the music. But it had an unforeseen flaw. It reacts to the body heat of the audience.
Ooh.
That became what made it so special. It matches the energy of the crowd.
That's crazy.
The fabric has gone to every show in the tour, and today it arrived in Mexico City. So this setup began. On the far left, there was a team in charge of building a small stage on which Fred and part of the audience would share the show. And since this is a convention center, on the sides of the space, a small crew would focus on sound treating the room, hanging thick fabric to absorb reverberations.
Reverberations.
On the main area, the lights and the fabric would be installed simultaneously, with millimetric precision, so
Man, how
that
did
when
he
they are
film all this?
controlled, they move in complete sync.
Do you think Gox was just filming by
Weights
himself?
are added at every
Or do you think Gox was traveling with the crew, or it's just him? I wonder if he says in the description.
intersection.
Because it's kind of cool. I'm trying to think, like, how many different lenses was he shooting with? Because he was shooting from across this fabric at one point.
Each is connected to its custom-made engine. That way, the operator has full control, and a dance happens between the music, the lights, and the fabric. A few hours later, Boris's artwork was finally rising through the air. The venue was ready for Fred, so he decided to continue their jamming sessions right here. But a few minutes in, he got a different idea. Why don't they instead shoot a live performance of the rough sketches they have been working on? Now they've only got 4 hours to prepare some music. Plan the shoot.
Wait, what does he mean they got 4 hours to make the music? Are these guys making, like, new stuff right before the concert? Which is kind of cool.
And execute it. So their only choice was to do it all in one continuous take. And they would only have one try to pull it off. So the weight of the visuals was put on her shoulders. This is Lucy, Fred's creative director. She's the mind behind the concepts of Fred's vinyl records, and she has done some covers too. She's the director of these music videos, and she has done these commercials too. She's helped build the world of Fred's shows, design
Ooh.
language.
Hey, he just proved something for me. Or I don't know if that's the right way to say it. But if you've been watching some of my recent live streams, I've been mentioning how a format that I want to do more of with photography is doing these super wide angle, like 16 by 5 or 2.4 by 1, right? So like doing these super wide angle frames. And it's like, because you see these for video, right? You get those letterbox styles, you get the, 2.4 by 1. You see it in the theaters, everywhere. But then you don't seem to see it with photos as often. And I really wanted to just see if I can push myself to do this format more and more. And I was thinking, even for like upcoming travels, can I just almost do it exclusively, like get all the shots in the super wide angle framing? And so then jumping to Gox's video right now, he's doing some really cool examples of exactly that. Actually, I'm curious. Hold on. Let me undo this first real quick. If we bring this over. I wonder if I can roughly see what the aspect ratio is. So this is like 2.4 by 1. I feel like that's what I'm seeing here, maybe. Let's see, I'm going to put my mouse right there. Okay, so it's slightly higher. And then what about here? Tip of the mouse there. Yeah, okay, I don't know. What am I? I'm not doing exact science. Point is, it looks like he's doing something right within that range of what I've been testing. Is like, can I make my YouTube videos, but in this super wide, or it's not YouTube videos, can I make my photos in this kind of super, super wide angle? So, Cyronis said, hey, what's happening? We got Cyronis in the chat. Howdy, howdy. Yo, Cyronis, we got some epic photos completed the other day. I'm really happy with the results of them. Like, these are some, you know, not to you know, pat my own back too hard here. Where are they? Check this photo out. Look at this. Look how amazing this is. We got the before and afters for them too. So, hold on. This was one of my favorites that we edited. Cyrenes, oh, we also got Katzenell and Boggin in the chat. So Katzenell, oh wait, I missed a few things. Hold on, my bad. Cyrone says X-Pan style. Oh, is that the name of that specific aspect ratio? Katzenell and Boggin says, I used a 9:3 today. A 9:3, is that a 3:1, I guess? I've never seen that. A 3:1. I'm assuming that means the same thing, right? So a 3:1. I've seen a 4:3, 2.4:1. Okay. Well, I'm curious what a 3:1. What is that? Is that wider than this? Must be. Yeah. So we had some chimp shots here, but then I think this the last shots I was working with where the chimp was lounging. It was I had some fun playing with the lighting and just making, you know, playing with also just the way it's just chilling, you know, it's got some chill vibes. So anyways, last photo to edit was this one. And then you sent me a video, so let's check this out on Twitch. Oh, I think I know exactly, because I've seen that beginning part. Oh, yeah. Wait, Cyrones, I think you're the one who showed me this before. Wait, no. Oh, no, hold on. Yeah, I think you're the one who showed me this exact video. And I think you introduced me to this guy, GX Ace. If it wasn't you, someone else from the YouTube chat, or sorry, from the live stream chat had shared this to me. Here, let's full screen this one. Over here.
What if I told you there was a camera that could turn every one of your
you shared me
images
this guy
into a still from a movie?
All right, I'm gonna get copyright. Whatever. Let's just see.
This is the Hasselblad X-Pan.
Yeah, so like I'm used to seeing this kind of style in videos, right? For like film, you see that letterboxing quite often. I just don't feel like people lean towards it or even consider experimenting with it. So it's cool to hear that you're doing that, Katzenell and Boggin. But like even there, you said you're experimenting for a hero website photo. So it's like very, what's the word? It's like for a very specialized purpose that you would do such a wide angle. And what I guess I'm trying to challenge myself is like, why do any of these aspect ratios matter? Is there like one that really is psychologically supposed to be the thing that, oh, here's why people should gravitate towards this? Or is it more just around, it's adapting to whatever your monitor size is, right? And so like for me, not without any knowledge of photography, right? When I just picked it up, the assumption is like, okay, it's shooting in this like 3:2 format. But then when I edit on my laptop or like on my computer monitor or the desktop monitor, it never shows full screen, right? Like you like that 16:9, which matches usually for a lot of these monitors. So then I was like, oh, okay, 16:9 just felt like the natural thing that a lot of people were gravitating towards in the digital age. And now with mobile phones, you see the same thing happening where it's like a 9:16 and you want that full screen of your vertical phone portrait screen. So like I wonder sometimes, are we just choosing aspect ratios based on adapting to the screens that we're looking at it from, which makes a lot of sense. But then from an artistic standpoint, from a subjective, like, you know, aesthetic appreciation standpoint, does that mean that there's room to explore and experiment and play with it? And so, and then as I started to do more video stuff, where you see all this letterboxing, it's like natural. It feels like the default is always that your film is in this anamorphic, you know, the top and the bottom is cut off and it's super, super wide angle. And it's like, that's just an expectation. So it's like, okay, so you're seeing that in video format, they tend to break the rules from a 16:9 desktop monitor aspect ratio. And people don't seem to mind. If anything, people assume that's like the way you're supposed to watch it to make it look the best. So anyways, my point is I've been trying to bring that over into photo mode as well. So hopefully you guys will see more of those examples from me as I keep pushing into doing like those super wide angle shots. So anyways, just a little food for thought, some experimentation. These shots, I've just been kind of leaving these ones as 3x2, just because these ones I might send over to the tourism board or like to the Uganda Wildlife Authority. Now I've been lucky enough to kind of work with them, right? I did that project with CNN and they have reached out to me in the past over like even the Island of Second Chances short film that I made. So I figure some of these, I just want to send them the entire image so that, you know, if they like it, they'll do something with it. But a lot of the other ones I do, you know, want to play with these wide angles, like this one, right? So the one I was just showing. What ratio did I do on this one? I think it was a 2.4. Yeah, this is the 2.4:1. And yeah, I quite like it. It is obviously cropped, but are we really missing out from not seeing what's above and below it? I don't know. But yeah, Katzenella Boggin said, yeah, it's the 3:1. Cyrone says, yes, sir, this YouTuber GX Ace. Yeah, this guy slaps, yeah. I see. Okay, so yeah, this is what you wanted to show me, right? Taking these still images. It looks really good like this. Although one thing that's a little awkward, I mean, which is not his fault, but I didn't realize that YouTube for its own top and bottom strips of like that letterbox, it's got that gradient effect. And then he's got, from his own video, you see like the top and bottom is like pitch black. So unfortunately, I mean, it's such a small detail, right? But unfortunately you get like you get like a sandwich effect here. So maybe the assumption was that the top and bottom was going to be pure black, but it wasn't here. How do you control for that then? Yeah, I guess that'd be pretty tough. Yeah, so I wonder what his aspect ratio is for this. I wonder if he says. Let's see. The Hasselblad lets you see the world in widescreen. It's an X-Pan. Does that stand for like X-Pano? He was shooting with the 50mm, 35mm. So how exactly does... So what does this Hasselblad actually do? Obviously, I'm skipping ahead, so I could just watch the video. Damn, he went heavy on the grain, which is also, you know, it's new to me, but I've been getting more and more comfortable applying a bit of that film grain onto my shots.
Actually is just a rebranded Fuji TX1, and it's one of the best cameras I've ever used. Is awesome. Cameras is all lenses. Very simple camera that allows me to take images that feel like they're out of a movie is awesome. Being able to see the world in this wide aspect ratio changes how awesome that aspect ratio. It's super wider with manual focus lenses, and uses a mechanically linked rangefinder with manual focus lenses, similar to a Leica. Because of its super wide aspect ratio, it feels very similar to the wide aspect ratios of the cinema world. And to be able to walk around with a camera that allows me to take images that feel like they're out of a movie is awesome. Being able to see the world in this wide aspect ratio changes how I think about taking images. The popularity for the X-Band and TX1 exploded in the early 20s. Prices for this camera were at an all-time high at that time, in the $3,000 to $5,000 range. It is a camera that is very hard to get repaired. It is an all-electronic film camera, so the possibility of components dying is very high. What makes this camera special is the image format is actually larger than 35mm. It takes 35mm film, but the image is actually closer to the width of two 35mm frames side by side. I have a video in the past where I made an anamorphic version of the Hasselblad X-Pan using my Hasselblad 500cm and an anamorphic adapter that I machined. This camera isn't actually anamorphic. It uses spherical lenses that have a larger image circle than 35mm and crops the 65x24 out of that image circle. If you have an equivalent lens on a smaller sensor camera, you can actually reproduce these images identically. The 45mm f4 lens has a roughly equivalent of a 28mm f2.5 on full frame. If you took an image and cropped it to the same field of view, your images will look identical. The only thing that you're losing out on is the higher resolution of a larger negative. One feature that I absolutely love about this camera, when you load film into the camera, it unloads the entire...
See, one day I think I'll try to get into like film stuff, like actual film cameras. That's like a world I really do not understand. And I'll have to do a lot more research. But okay, super cool stuff. Thank you, Cyrones, for sharing this. This is literally, I see why you linked it to me, because that's exactly the thought process I'm having in my mind. So it looks like I'm on an earlier part of that journey that some of these extremely creative people have already pursued. But yeah, I think that's kind of what I want to do, right? Like, even if I make some dedicated YouTube videos and just showcase a number of my photos, but in that specific aspect ratio. So yeah, I'm trying to edit more of those and collect more of those types of photos, and then hopefully we have enough that I can show like a portfolio of it. All right, let's keep watching Gox.
She's helped build the world of Fred's shows, design language, and marketing campaigns. She's gathered the creative team behind it, including Boris, Theo, the photographer, Charlie, the videographer, and Jamie, the cinematographer. While Fred and Latin Mafia continued their session, Lucy and Jamie planned the shoot. And time started running out quickly.
I kind of think maybe not the dolly rotating. My gut is saying it might be more powerful handheld, but also maybe this is fire.
And how come you're not worried about the intention of the in and out movement becoming cumbersome? So do you want it to come into where you actually sing?
Doubts started coming one after another.
It will feel so cinematic and otherworldly that I would constantly be wanting to like fight that in ways. Like in the sound, we'll be like I need to tell the guys to like shout.
It was 1 a.m. There was no more time to solve them.
Also, just watching the way Gox filmed this, I'm like wondering, I mean, I'm assuming it's just his creative, it's how he's doing it, but it looks so low light. Everything he's showing here, right? It looks like it's so dark in here. So I'm just curious. I'm assuming we can read in the description, but I'm curious what he shot with. What was the actual lighting here? Or was he just pumping up that ISO on his camera? Or was it actually pretty brightly lit and he's just a god at, manipulating the lighting in post? But anyways.
So cinematic and otherworldly that I would constantly be wanting to like fight that in ways. Like in the sound, we'll be like I need to tell the guys to like shout.
It was 1 a.m. There was no more time to solve them. So Lucy did a final meeting.
Then we go into dynamic lighting and movement.
Yes.
And then she called action.
It was nice when you stood up as well.
Yeah. Yeah, they're very.
So nice.
It's insane. Yeah.
Fred's time in Mexico was coming to an end. The only thing left to do.
You know what this is making me realize? I wonder... So I'm assuming when Gox uploaded this video, man, I just don't know enough about YouTube, how it works. I'm assuming he like maybe uploaded this video in its aspect ratio, whatever this was, right? So maybe this is, let's say, 2.4 by 1. So let's say he actually created that as the aspect ratio for his video, uploaded it as that, and then YouTube does the obviously, like, it just knows where to crop everything. And then it looks pretty good because then, you know, the top and bottom becomes like an automatic letterboxing. However, the top and bottom, YouTube then, it's like not a pitch black or bright whatever. It's like uses some kind of gradient effect based on whatever's being projected in the center. And that's where you get these weird moments where if, for example, he's showing a photo that he took, it looks a bit awkward, right? Not his fault. Like these moments here, right? Well, this one you can't do much about because, well, one thing I'm also realizing, maybe I have to avoid pitch black as like the surrounding background. So if I have something that's not going to be full screen, maybe I do need to make it a little bit more of this gradient gray. I wonder if that, like, you can actually, I don't know if that's possible. It's a gradient, so it's kind of annoying because like you're never going to be able to really properly match it. But it just looks a bit awkward to me when you see this gray top and bottom, then you have this pitch black left and right. Let's see. And even here, when he does match the entirety, because he's got this like, you know, rounded corners, you still get this weird border of this like black border effect across everything. And it's such a minor thing that I don't even think it matters in the grand scheme of things. But if I could avoid it, how do I avoid it? So now I'm trying to question this. Like, I think the best way to avoid it is that I just need to keep the video at 16 by 9. That's my current assumption. So I need to actually keep the video that I upload has to maintain the full 16 by 9. And then within the video I'm editing, it has to just, I basically have to manually create the letterboxes inside of DaVinci and publish as a 16 by 9. That's the only way I guess you can avoid having a multi-layered or like a black and a gray clashing background, I guess. I don't know. Katzenellenbogen says, do you ever watch Polly B or Ill Concept? Any street photography guys? No, I don't. Ooh, you know who the best? I don't do enough of that, Katzenellenbogen. I think street photography is the next chapter of something I want to explore. I do a little bit of like travel. I don't know what the right term would be. Voyeurism? That sounds weird. I like capturing candid moments when I travel of people. You're actually going to see it shortly in my, and I'll Google the people you just mentioned. I'll look up the YouTube. That was what I was hoping I'd be focusing on today, is you'll start to see a little bit of those kind of photo. It's not really street photography. It's more just like travel photography. But like in this case, I was in a moving vehicle. So it very much was trying to see if I can capture candid moments as they fly by me or as they're in front of me and make the most of it. We'll see if I have some good shots. It's going to be a lot of just like, you know, drive-by shooting, literally. But I really like that, you know, and when I went to Vietnam, that was really fun. I just like capturing street stuff. There's a really cool, I only know him from Instagram. There's a guy named Cosnio, Kosnio. Cosnio. I wonder if he's on YouTube. Yeah. Okay, cool. Hey, okay, very quickly. And then I want to check out the ones you just mentioned as well. But he does like street videography. And it's so clean. It's so, I say simple, but he makes it seem simple. Here, Cosnio's a good one. Cosneo. Yeah, here we go. Okay, the audio is not on this one. But basically, he just takes simple moments from whatever he sees while he's traveling or when he's wandering the streets, and then put some soothing music, a really minimalist titling like you see here. It's very, it's like a iconic style for me. 14 Seconds of Bangkok.
Watch this transition. Watch
These aren't him. Anyways, there's better examples on Instagram. Drive-by shooting, wow, that did not sound right. Yeah, listen, what can you do? It is always funny that like shooting, it's funny that we share the same language as hunters, and we're both kind of hunting for something, right? We both use tools and visuals. But anyways, you mentioned someone named Polly B. Polly B, a photographer primarily making my photos. I subscribe to him, so hopefully I'll see more of his stuff. I asked New York City photographers, digital or film. Ooh, okay. And then who's the other one you said? Ill Concept. Different side of New York. Oh man, I'm so jealous. Maybe I should just move to New York City. I have some friends there, and it feels like all the action's there. All these artists are there. All right, let's check out these videos while I edit some more. Thanks for the suggestion.
This video is sponsored by MPB. Kazu, I got a question for you.
Yeah. What you got?
2026, how you feeling about digital photography versus film photography?
Digital, not for me, honestly.
When's the last time you tried digital photography?
You know what I would say to that? I think film photography is for the pretentious people. That's what I say. I don't mean that, but I view film as like, it's a privilege, maybe is the way I would say it. To shoot with film cameras is very much a privileged thing, which is like, look, if you're able to, by all means. But yeah, to use a system that is clearly less efficient than using digital these days means that you have the ability to kind of explore beyond just for, putting food on the table kind of a stuff, right? And I think film, I'm assuming, costs a lot more money because now you got to develop it and all the others. Actually, I'm curious. I could be eating my own words there. My assumption is that if you wanted to do film photography and buy film cameras and stuff, it actually might cost more because the market's moved on. So to get all the films and like even to develop everything, it might be harder to do all that compared to like, if you get a digital camera, it's like you just get one editing software and boom, you're done. Yeah, the LARPers, people who write with fountain pens, yeah. The matcha drinkers, the acai. I love acai, but yeah, it's like I would love to do film photography. It's just I don't have the ability right now to kind of learn that and like buy and invest in all of the stuff. I've said this as much. Peter McKinnon, right? He picked up film camera, I feel like a few years ago, and in my mind, I thought of it as like, he's already at the pinnacle. He's already successful. So now if you're like just wanting to keep stretching your creativity and development, then of course, why not get into film? Because film cameras, it's like if there's a vintage feel to it, it's out of style, it's out of date. You're doing something old school. There's like a hipster vibe to it, and it's something that costs a lot of time and money to be able to get into it these days. So, but I would love to. I say this out of jealousy, okay? I would love to do it myself.
4 years ago, every time I try to shoot with the digital, I feel like it's the same as the iPhone.
Okay.
Wow, this guy.
It's special.
What makes the film special?
First of all, it's money, right? It costs every shot. Also, like, I don't know. I think about like every frame.
You don't think you could do that with digital?
No, really. Because also I love processing my film too. Like every steps matter to me. Like
this guy's. I'm sure I would get along with him in person. But it does. He does come off as pretentious though. What the hell, man? It's like, I mean, well, listen, I say this from my own perspective, but like, you guys see how long it takes me just to edit one photo. And this is like after I've already kind of mastered, I say mastered, but I've already created my presets. I generally speaking know the look I'm looking for. And yet you still struggle with these digital photos on like, how do you shape the light? How do you shape the perspective to get what you want? I agree though, there's something nice about, there's like a finality to film cameras, I'm assuming, where you can't, there's no, you know, going back. What you have to be intentional with each shot. Like he said, it's not like you can delete the photo or whatever. So there's something really cool to that for sure, as part of like a linear, a forward momentum or forward process at all times. But what are you talking about, Willis? Come on.
Developing printing.
Yeah, you
even
print.
like a scanning.
Yeah, even scanning?
Yeah, I hate scanning, but it's forcing you to see your pictures, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's true.
I like it, kind of.
So the last time I asked this question for this like particular video,
I will also say film photography probably requires way more skill than digital. I mean, I would feel like on average, I would agree with that, where it's like, if you were to tell me the average film photographer is technically more skilled than a digital shooter, I would probably agree. In the same, yeah, I would agree. In the same way, I would feel like a professional DSLR shooter is probably more technically sound than a professional mirrorless camera shooter, just because you have to know a lot more to make sure you always get the shot right. Katzenell Boggin says, I already am struggling with memory prices. I can't do film right now. Oh yeah, I did hear that. Man, I heard that. I mean, things are just getting so damn expensive, right? But I've heard storage devices, memory cards, all of it's like skyrocketing in prices. It sucks.
Film versus digital was 2023.
Yeah.
And I think the last time I made this video was because the film prices were rising so much.
Yeah.
What made you try digital?
This shot's a little too blurry for me to
At this
want to work with, and it's a bit too tight of a crop. So.
No, you're past that point.
No, special for me.
Because it has to have that specialness for you to keep shooting.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about like other digital shooters.
Yeah, just for you. This is just for you.
Yeah, just for me.
Willie, you were actually in the last video that we did this. What's your current relationship with film?
It's like that girl I wish I never dated.
So since that video came out in 2023, has your relationship with film photography changed? I think you had just gotten the M10.
I don't really have a relationship with film no more. I shot a bit, I think last year, and I've been developing some old rolls on the backlog, but for the most part, you know, I stick with the M10. It's what I need. Whatever makes it fun for you, stick to that. It's all good.
I like this guy's attitude
the
more.
switch to shooting primarily the M10 due to the cost of film, or is it something else?
No, it's just the conveniency. You gotta develop, you gotta cut it, scan it. I don't want somebody else scanning my photos and seeing them before I do. So it would take me a long time. I spent a lot of nights developing at home and scan. It just takes up a lot of time. And this isn't gonna be a popular opinion, but in 2026, you know, if you're still having the debate about film versus digital, you're kind of having a conversation with the brands and their marketing teams. So, you know, don't fall for it. Just, you know, shoot whatever is fun for you. That's it.
I agree.
Yeah. And this video is sponsored by MPV. You can find pretty much every brand on MPV. See, every piece of gear is inspected and graded before it's listed, so you know exactly what condition you're getting. And all the prices you see are updated in real time based on demand and conditions, so you're not stuck guessing if you're getting a fair deal or not. So if you've been wanting to change it up and your camera has just been sitting around, you can easily sell that to MPV and put that towards whatever you want to shoot next by browsing their vast inventory of used camera gear. And you don't have to hesitate, because every purchase comes with a free warranty and a hassle-free return policy. Go to MPV right now, place that order, and just continue shooting, because at the end of the day, it's all about you and the gear that allows you to enjoy taking photos. So thank you to MPV for sponsoring this video, and let's get back to it.
Anything you want, baby. Whatever makes it more fun. That's it. If you're not having...
Man, I need to move to New York City. I want to move there so I can meet this dude, join like this proper photography community. I guess there is a community in Dubai as well, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. I feel like the community here, one, I'm a little bit, I'm not too close knit with it, or I'm not like too dialed into it. And the little bits I've seen from some of the photographers, it feels very like, I don't know, it doesn't feel welcoming. It always feels like there's this air of arrogance and competitiveness. Is that a word? Competitiveness. It feels very, I don't know. I never like the vibes when I meet some of these other. It feels like once you're bigger than someone, I don't know. There just feels like I just never like the vibes when I meet some of the photographers out here. So anyways, that's why I've been doing my stuff solo for as long as I have. But man, I do want to join like a proper community of like, you know, just chill people. This dude for sure. The first guy, I don't know. He seemed all right. I'm kind of I'm joking with, I'm tongue in cheek, but this guy, he's like, yeah, just shoot with what you want. Be practical with it.
Fun doing this, man. I don't know why you're doing it.
Man, go back inside. Thank you, Willie.
Anytime, bro.
I'll catch you in another 3 years.
Another 3. Later. You talking to like other photographers and shit?
Yeah. That
I just seen some of your Johns. Yo, that's crazy. That's fucking funny.
The question right now is, what's your relationship with film photography? I see you got 2 film cameras. We just met Devon right now.
No,
He just pulled up.
My relationship with film photography is that I feel like it's more representative of what you see.
Yeah.
But I feel like the film ones is like more reminiscent of like a memory when you go back and like reflecting upon them. Even with the film, I develop my own stuff. It's still less time consuming than if I was to shoot 500 pictures for the day and then I know what to do with like 200 or 300.
You shoot digital at all?
Yeah, I have a Nikon Z5. It's fine. I'd use it for work sometimes when I do like portraits and stuff, but when I'm just out having fun, it's the cameras.
Yo, what's going on? We're here with Mamadou.
Mamadou.
Yo. We're gonna ask him the question, what's your relationship with film photography these days?
It's an expensive relationship filled with a bunch of failure, but success every now and then, you know?
Yeah.
Wouldn't trade it for nothing, though, for sure.
Has that changed in the last 3 years?
I think it's gotten worse.
Like, you're shooting more film?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely shooting more. And it's like, you know, the more you shoot, the more your standards rise, right? You know, it's like a lot of shit. You know, if I would have took this picture 3 years ago, I would have been so excited about it or whatever. But now taking it's like, oh, I don't like it. I don't want to use this, blah, blah, whatever. You know, so it's like worse, for sure, 100%.
What about digital? Has like shooting digital ever crossed your mind?
I shoot digital when I do jobs, but it's like, I'm so terrible because, you know, film is my cheat code with like, so I don't really have to edit that much. You know, some people try to say things about editing film, whatever. I salute film photographers who can shoot film and edit it and make it look phenomenal and it still has that film look. I can't do that. I normally just pump out how it looks. Digital is like, it's a naked photo. Like, that intimidates the shit out of me. I can't really play with that. So I try to stay away from digital, you know, but, you know, shoot what you shoot. There's a lot of great digital photographers like this guy, Billy D.
We got Billy D here. Today I'm asking people what their relationship is with film photography and how it's changed in the past 3 years.
I'll be honest with you. I started photography around maybe like seriously like street end of 2019, 2020. And at that time, I shot film and digital equally. I had a digital camera always around me, and I always had another film photographer. I used I had like a Nikon F3 that I loved, and at the same time, I also just bought like a Leica M6 because all the cool kids were using it. And at that time, I was using both of it. Like I was kind of experimenting. I was new, you know, and I was juggling.
Yeah.
There'll be like situations where I would, you know, shoot. Some days I would shoot more digital. Some days I would shoot more film. I was experimenting with like double exposures, doing all types of stuff. And these days, I find now that I kind of like separated that. Now that I kind of know what I'm looking for and what I like to shoot and the things I enjoy, I shoot.
I gotta say, I'm kind of shocked. So far, I've heard Nikon the most. I think all of them who mentioned like a camera brand, I've heard Nikon. So shout out, hells yeah. Casanel Bogan says, Polly B interviews, in my view, are the best street documentary photographers. You should watch his one-on-one videos of people like Billy Din, Jeremy Page, or Stephanie Keith, etc. Man, I just don't know anybody. This is great though. Yeah, thank you. Well, now that I subscribe to him, hopefully some of his videos will start circulating into the feed for my daily streams. So, but yeah, I would listen. I personally would also love to do something like that in Dubai when the weather permits. Right now, it's way too hot. But yeah, like I said, it would be great to be able to meet and like do kind of content like this with other photographers. I just, and again, this could be my own being pretentious, but I just felt like the few times I meet some of these other photographers, I feel weird even saying this because like sometimes there's nothing tangible to point to. I can't point to like clear moments where like, oh, this guy was being a dick or this person did that. It's just like you just kind of get a feeling. And sometimes I felt like a lot of fellow photographers feel threatened or don't like feel as welcoming. Like we're all in this together. We're here to have fun and stuff. I don't know. It always feels like people are in it for themselves, and I have nothing against it. It just didn't feel like a vibe that I wanted to partake in. But I'm like making a blanket statement as if all Dubai photographers are like this. Obviously not. But just I kept not meeting some of those people that felt like, oh, this is like a fellow creative that I was like, oh man, we can just like, shoot the shit. There are a few. I just haven't been able to meet some of them regularly, but it would be cool. It'd be cool. Anyway, sorry. Let's keep watching.
Digital when it comes to more of the fast-paced, serious stuff. Like right now, I have a digital camera, but like when I want to slow it down a little bit, right? When I want to like really appreciate my shots, take my time, and a lot more for like personal stuff. When I'm with my girlfriend or when I'm out like going to like a birthday party, walking around the city, just like not really shooting, I have my film camera because it slows me down. It makes me appreciate a lot more of like, I think the whole process of photography because I've developed film, using like the black bag. Yeah. And I've been doing that for the last 5 years. That's where I'm at with film. I don't shoot it as much, but I think when I do shoot it, it has more meaning.
It's more purposeful.
It's more purposeful.
Yeah.
But versus before, because I was new, I was experimenting, I was shooting film and digital, just trying to see what type of photographer I would become. I could have maybe, in an alternate reality, realized that digital wasn't for me and just stuck with film. And to this day, I'd be a strict film photographer.
Is there a reason why you shoot digital for the fast-paced stuff and not film?
I'll be honest with you, I think it's maybe the flexibility you have with digital. Right? I'm not the type where I actually take a shot and I look at my camera. A lot of people do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. I try not to do that because I don't want to get disappointed. But for me, it's like I like being able to take a couple shots in a row without having to like, advance. I do like also the auto focus, and I know a lot of film cameras do have that. But for me, when I do film, I separate. It's all manual. If I'm doing all automatic, I'm doing digital. Yeah. And I don't know why. I just like to kind of keep those two worlds separate.
But then all else equal, say like you have the shot of your life in front of you.
Right.
If you and everything was in focus, like you had all your settings right, would you rather have it in digital film?
Digital. I'll tell you why. I can move the camera places I can't move a digital film camera, right? I can take out the I can take out the I can flip the screen. I can put it below, go up. I can come up, come down. With the film camera, a lot of the older ones, right? You're static. I just feel like I don't think I can compose it the same way that I would want to compose it with film. And I'm not saying I'm not hating on any of the film stuff. It's just that the way I'm used to shooting now, I'm used to putting the camera places that I know if I had film, I wouldn't be able to see. Like I'd have to look through the viewfinder very low. And don't get me wrong, there are film cameras where you get to do the top-down viewfinder thing. Yeah. But I just think I'm quicker.
It's a different experience.
It's quicker. It's a different experience. But I will say the result. Yeah. If it was just not the process, the result film. 100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Film. 100%. I barely edit my film shots. It comes out. It looks the way it looks. I tweak it a little bit.
Such a simple concept, and every time I say simple, I feel like there's a negative connotation to the word. But to me, I view it as like the most impressive thing when you can make something look simple, or like in this case, the fact that he does these YouTube videos where he's just doing, I say he's doing these street interviews. It's like a simple format, and it's so enjoyable to watch. And you're bringing in other talents, you're bringing in other creatives. So by virtue of doing this, you're also extending your own network, collaborations, things like that. It's such a smart idea, right? But I need to think like that, right? I need to think of these like simple, repeatable concepts that just, anyways. Captain Dylan Boggin said, I also do that. I only see what I've shot in Lightroom. Oh, okay. So you don't even review, you just kind of wait. There's something nice to that. I think I sometimes do it, sometimes I don't. It just depends if I get bored or it depends on the moment. But it is nice sometimes to just be like, all right, I'm going in blind. Let's see what we got.
Get the exposure right, but like the color's great. Yeah. If it's exposed well. But I think the act of taking a photo for me, it's digital.
Yeah.
Right.
And the output is more.
Right.
But that incremental thing you get out of film was not really worth.
Yeah. Because I like moving the camera places that I don't use, like traditionally I couldn't do with film.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So I hope I haven't upset all the the film people.
I mean,
but I'm a film shooter, and I love film. And I respect.
Very logical. Answer.
Right. Yeah.
I'm with it.
Right.
Thank you, Billy.
Yeah, of course, man. Anytime.
You guys already know Billy, man. Come on. Thank you, dude.
All right, my man.
Nixon.
5.
I want to say 5, but I also want them to win at home. So I want to say 6, but like,
no,
I don't want to upset anybody. 5.
Yeah, Nixon 5. But this is going to come out after, so who knows?
Right.
You guys will know.
It was 5,
3 years
right?
ago, I made this video.
I'm sure you've seen all of the information about the price of film. Is film getting too expensive? Would you switch to digital because of the prices?
Big reason I made the video is because at the time, the cost of film was a big hot topic. And everybody was talking about it, and people were talking about switching to film. So I thought I'd revisit it. And a big reason for me to revisit this video is personal. Because as some of you guys might know,
I like how
I've had a
he set
partnership
up
for
the
past-
camera too. Katzenell Boggin says, do you have any YouTube videos I missed? Yes, I do. One of them is pinned to the chat. I don't know if you saw my Munich street photography street video challenge video. That was, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago. Definitely check that out if you haven't. It's my first time doing one of those types of videos. I'm going to do more of these vlogging styles. And then the one I just posted recently is from my trip to Vietnam. And this is from last year. And I just did this street walk. I walked the same street, this busy nightlife street, 3 times in a row with 3 different lenses with the Z6 III, and just filming whatever chaotic things I saw on like a nonstop, continuous single take. So I hope you check it out. I hope everyone checks it out. It was enjoyable to make, and it's really fun. I will say, if you've got 20 something minutes, it's just fun to watch. For someone like me, I love just getting lost in chaos. And that was kind of the point of this video, is you just see the camera in a point of view style, and then, you know, as you pass by the bars and you hear the music or the live music or the performers or the people, it's just, or the flame, you know, like a kid shooting fireballs, and it's just chaos. So I hope you enjoy. Katzenell Boggin says, no, I haven't. I'll binge some of them after swimming. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment. No one ever says comment. It's always like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. But they never end with the 4th, because I think it's generally like you want to say things in 3s, maybe. That's why. But make sure to do all 4. Like, subscribe, comment, and turn on the notification bell. Enjoy. Thank you very much, Katzenell Boggin. I do appreciate you hopping in here. Enjoy your swim. And then, yeah, let me know your thoughts on the videos.
4 years
And thanks
or so,
for the suggestion. We got some cool new content to watch now.
that basically supplied me all of my film, and I didn't really have to worry about the ups and downs of film costs to an extent. And that relationship is ending. So now I have to kind of rethink my strategy. And it's all good, you know. I've kind of knew and had a mindset that, you know, these partnerships don't last forever. So I've kind of mentally prepared myself for it to end, and have kind of been thinking about this situation, this scenario for a long time. I think my plan when it comes to digital film is to kind of shoot a hybrid. So when it comes to like this, like right now, like midtown street photography, routine stuff where I'm just putting the reps in, trying to get practice, trying to get in motion of hitting that shutter button, I think that I'm gonna shoot digital mainly for these scenarios, these situations. And when it comes to like projects, family stuff, travel, or like even if I think that I'm having a good day, I'll just whip this camera out, the film camera. Or if there's like a, you know, situation happening that I can like afford the time to switch between my digital and film camera, then I'll do that. See who we can find throughout the course of this video. Yo, we got Queer Ralph here. Queer Ralph, also from the Bay. How you doing? The question is...
Okay, what's going on here? Something suspicious going on. Oh, no, there was one black guy. But why is he... Does he only know the Asian photographers? Or is it just like... Are the streets of New York just filled with Asian photographers only? What's going on here?
Let's just split...
I'm saying this as someone... well, I grew up with I didn't grow up with a lot of Asian people. And then when I lived in San Francisco for a number of years. And it was like the craziest thing to me that like the Asian community was like super... what's the word? What's the word when... I don't know. It was very close knit, but it was very... I don't know. It was like there's always like Asian people only hung out with other Asian people kind of vibes. It was interesting. I don't know. You got to branch out is what I'm saying.
Of shooting digital versus shooting film these days.
Oh, wow.
What's up, dude?
That's a pretty tough question. I mean, like, I actually just bought this Q2 a few months ago, so I don't really have enough experience and shooting digital. I still feel like I need to learn a lot more about digital. I mean, shooting film is a lot more easier. I feel
Really?
like
What's been the obstacle?
I'm just trying to figure out all the settings. This is basically it. Once I get there, then it'll be there. I mean, I bought this just to travel, but the more I use this, it makes me feel like I miss film a lot more. It's just how easy it is, the way it looks. I mean, like, I've actually compared the photos I took on this compared to my M6. I still like film, actually. I still love film.
So you mostly shoot digital for like travel?
Yes, I actually want to do a lot of like traveling. I was going to go away for like a good 3-4 months and just travel. I didn't want to worry about like TSA,
hand checking,
and running out of film in a different country and not being able to fight.
Do you think there's any chance that would overtake you shooting film? If like
shit, dude.
You might find like you might be like, actually, I fucking like this.
I still feel like I need to use this a lot more.
Yeah.
But like, it's convenient. I mean, like sometimes like when I do use this, I feel like I'm still like slowing down a little. Like I feel like I'm shooting film still. Wait, what am I doing? Like, why am I just not blasting away? I was just shooting this corner right now, and I seen a shot, and I was like, wait, lighting's kind of bad. But then again, I was like, wait, I got a digital, so I just started shooting away. All right.
All right, dude. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Paulie.
Yep. Can I ask you guys, both of you a question for the video? All right, it's all Conrad. Conrad and Doopy. What's your relationship between shooting film versus shooting digital these days? 2026.
All film, all day, yeah.
All film.
No slowing down in the past couple of years.
Digital for like commissioned work.
Yeah.
But personal work, all film.
Yeah, and
They're all
no
giving
signs of
similar answers
introducing digital to that work.
No, I mean, if anything, I'm even more committed to it now than my doubts in previous years.
What strengthened that relationship with film recently or in the past year or two?
My workflow hasn't been as high in like the last few months, so like the costs are easier to justify.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
So that's mostly it.
The bill isn't constantly coming in.
It's not racking up as it used to. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. What if it does?
If it does, I'll just work harder, get more money.
That's the way to do it. Cool. All right, man.
On the street, it's film all the time, and for like event stuff, or anything where I'm going to shoot high volume, I'll usually pull out both and shoot mostly digital. But the stuff I think I'm really going to like, I'll shoot on film. Keep coming back to film no matter what. There's just something about the workflow. Enjoy shooting the film camera a lot more than the digital camera.
It's a lot has to do with the enjoyment of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. That makes sense. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Walkie-talkie part 2.
We got Cisco here. Cisco, what's good?
Chilling, man. Chilling. Just getting off of work and enjoying the nice weather.
2026. What's your split of digital versus film?
Well, digital, I do it for work purposes. Film is what I use for street. And it's really, you know, what, 99% street. I was thinking about going back to digital, but because I miss color. I just loved what I shot with the X Pro 3. I love the Fuji colors, and yeah, I don't know, thinking about it.
So what's stopping you?
Nothing really. I'm just stuck on film right now. I like this film journey, so maybe one of these days I'll complete that chapter and go back.
All right, I'm putting RJ on the spot.
Oh shit!
Here, hold the same mic.
What up? What it
Yo,
do?
we got RJ from the Bay.
What's happening with you?
RJ from the
What's
Bay.
going on, man? Straight from the Bay.
So keep going.
Hey, on Playboy.
You got
What's going
bars?
on?
Oh, we got bars?
No, I don't.
All right, RJ. The question is, how often are you shooting film versus digital photography?
I don't know. I pretty much shoot film like 100% of the time, unless I need to shoot digital.
When you need to shoot digital?
I need to shoot digital when I'm shooting the stars, and I need to shoot digital when I'm doing work. For the most part, yeah. I mean, sometimes I'll pick up work that's in for film, but like I like to reserve film, when I'm shooting for fun. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like, shooting film, it's a lot more conducive to fucking establishing sentiment with your work. You know what I mean?
Sentiment.
You're working for every shot with film. Every time you press a shutter button, that's $1. $2 in some cases, so you got to be a lot more calculated with it, and I think that allows me to build a lot stronger connection with my work and shit. You know what I mean?
That's fair. So the cost is kind of like a benefit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the cost is the benefit. The cost could also be a detriment too, but I don't really like to look at it like that. You know what I mean?
or at all.
Exactly. At all. Yeah. Can't be dwelling on that shit.
You think it's gonna change in the next couple of years if like film prices keep going up?
It's funny because I ask myself that all the time, bruh. Like I really thought I was gonna pick up a Ricoh this year, and I continued to put it off because
We learned that brand the other day. Wow, what a coincidence! I literally just what was it? Yesterday, someone taught me Asked about what I thought about the Ricoh, and now here we learn it again, or we see it again.
Like, I don't want to get trapped back in that digital circle, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because before I was shooting film, I ain't gonna lie to you, I was shooting digital. And then, you know, like, I transitioned to film like a few years after that, because I was like, man, like, I'm spending a lot more time in front of a computer than I'm out shooting, you know what I mean? So it's like, what's the fun in this? Like, let me just get into film, you know, force myself to be outside and like let the post development, you know, come later.
So that time doesn't get just reallocated to like developing, scanning?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, because, you know, in digital, it's like, you know, you go out and you come back with like, what, 300, 400, 500 photos or whatever, but you got to go through every single one of those, make your selects. I mean, yeah, like, I do spend a lot of time in my process post-development too, right? Like, you know, I spend a lot of time scanning, spend a lot of time in behind the computer, but again, like, you know, the quality of work that I'm making with my film, because it's a lot more calculated, it's like, it makes sitting behind the computer a lot more worth it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense to me. All right, man, appreciate it.
Yeah, right on, bro.
So, give me some words. Should people go to San Francisco to take pictures?
Yes, absolutely. Come out there. Say what's up.
Say what's up.
Get me a beer.
Get me a beer. Are you in the frame right now? What's up? We got Rob here. Rob, what's up? What's your split of film photography versus digital photography these days?
100% digital.
100%? Always?
Always.
When's the last time you shot film?
I don't know, like 21?
You have zero relationship with film photography? No plans to get back into it?
No. No plans. That shit is expensive. No. And even if developing was completely free, I'm good on digital. I'm happy with my camera. I'm happy with my workflow. I don't need any extra baggage or anything else like that.
If it's completely free, like the film?
I feel like I would shoot film in the winter. And I would only shoot cine still. If I'm gonna shoot film, I want something that's 100% unique that I cannot get with a digital camera. Even then, I could probably achieve that, but that would probably be just like a winter thing. And I would probably shoot completely different than what I shoot right now. Completely different lens, completely different subject matter. Everything would just be completely different. I'd probably shoot that strictly at night, especially like in this day and age where everybody's basically shooting the same thing.
Yeah.
Why would you want to just follow the herd?
Well, let me ask you, what caused you to change in 2021?
I just started hating the process. To me, if you're gonna shoot film, you have to do the whole process. And if like you don't develop your own film and you don't print your own film, then you're basically a digital photographer that pays. And like we've had talks about this, and like you feel
I like this guy.
different. And like I understand your point, but like from my point of view, it's just like the only reason to shoot film is either one, to get something completely different and unique, i.e. the cine still, or because you enjoy the full process. If you're having a lab develop your shit and you've never been in the darkroom, to me, in my mind, you're essentially a digital photographer.
Any last words of wisdom for the people out there?
Mexican food in New York is fucking terrible.
Now we're really part of Washington Square Park, because everybody's
might be
content
true.
this motherfucker
If
park.
you're coming from the
That's
West
why I kind of
Coast-
wanted to leave. But anyways, we're here with Usman. Usman, what's your relationship in 2026 with film versus digital?
I would say digital is significantly easier. I do a lot less work when it comes to digital. With film, I don't know. I have no problem. Like I work a 9 to 5, so like I can afford to continue to shoot film.
There we go.
I don't really have a preference like a lot of people do. I just don't care.
Is it just like, because I know you said you have a Q2 in your
I got
bag,
a Q2 monitor
so you
in
kind
the
of
bag.
carry both.
Yeah. So
how do you choose one or the other?
I barely do. I got a lot of cameras, and like when it comes to like leaving the house, that's usually the hard part of like which camera I'm supposed to take. I don't know. Like today, it was just random. I said I want to shoot medium. I don't know why. I just did.
Yeah.
And then I said, let me keep the Q2 as a backup just in case. I'm also trying to get used to the 28 millimeter focal length, so that's why, like intentionally came out with the Q2. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then as far as like shooting film and digital, it is what it is. Whatever I got that day is what I'm using.
Is there a split? Usually like 80-20 film versus digital, or is it just kind of random?
Currently it's like a 60-40, but favoring digital.
Favoring digital?
Yeah, mainly because when shooting film, a lot of times it's just, I develop by myself, and I also scan by myself. So a lot of stuff just ends up on the backlog, and I don't like that too much because I'm constantly just trying to get work out. So that's why I shoot more digital.
Makes sense, man. Appreciate it.
Of course, no problem.
Scotty, what's up?
What's up, guys?
Scotty, the question
has to do with film versus digital. In 2026, what's your relationship with film and digital? Choosing between the two, shooting them, this and that.
As some of you guys know, we were on a road trip, and using the OM3 was an amazing experience and really reminded me how great digital can be. The amount of photos it can produce, and just even like the ergonomics was great. But for me, deep down in my heart, film will always be something I shoot, especially for the rest of the year. Maybe a time will come in the future, in the next few years, but I just got 32 rolls scanned yesterday with a mix of Europe and even some from the road trip that I forgot were there. Wow, just the way film renders in terms of the detail, the light, the shadows, the textures of the skin. You can't replicate that with digital as much as I would want it to. But for the time being, film is still going to be my primary way of shooting.
I did this video.
Okay, you know what? This photo, I'm happy I stuck with it. When I saw the original shot, I wasn't like it didn't speak to me at all, because it was like a shot that I took on a bumpy road in a moving vehicle, just like a drive-by shot, and it's slightly blurry. It's not the most. I don't know. It's just like a whatever shot, right? So if we look at the original, this is the original shot. Super underexposed as well. So it's just a lot of like, okay, well, you know, I stuck my camera out, I took the shot, but is there really anything I could do with this whatsoever? So I wasn't really sold. However, I saw a spark of maybe a potential for something I could work with. And so I said, why not? F it, you know? And I'm glad I did, because it did force me, or I learned something new just by doing this photo. And what I mean by new is that I never thought to combine two linear gradients together to create this kind of like, to get a feeling of light coming through just in a part of, you know, it's like a more focused sunlight effect. Because usually I've been doing it where the sun is coming either from the edges, like either from the left side or the top right side. But this time I decided, just from one of my presets, I thought I saw some examples where if I had some light coming through towards the center, it could look interesting. And so I created two linear gradients. Or did I create two? I think it was one linear gradient with a couple. I created one linear gradient, and then I subtracted another linear gradient on the other side so that the effect would just be basically in the middle. So, yeah, I don't know. It was an interesting attempt, but actually, hold on. While I have this, let's make a quick change here. I think I want to rotate this one a little bit more. Yeah, okay. So yeah, first time ever doing a masking like that. So we'll see if it turns out this might be a new tool in my toolkit as I try to like creatively manipulate certain photos. But the end result turned out pretty decent. And then I did make the executive decision when I was in Dehancer to switch this over to black and white, because the colors weren't like necessarily the most impressive anyways. The shot is fairly blurry. So I figure if I go black and white, it could also hide some of the imperfections. I could apply a lot more film grain to it, and it's more forgivable in this kind of like vintage black and white style. So it hides a bit of the blurriness of the shot. And then, now that I played with the lighting here, it makes the light a lot more of a focus, like a focal point to the shot. So that combined with the girl on the side of the street, yeah, we're happy. We're Gucci. Boom, boom, boom. I guess we salvaged the shot. All right, let's keep going. How many more? Okay, I want to at least get to this one shot here of the lady on the side of the street. So let's keep going and keep watching.
3 years ago. And has your position changed in the past 3 years? The film prices kind of like...
Not really, because I shoot Ultramax and Fuji 400, and those are pretty darn affordable. They're like half the price of Portra. So that was my solution of dealing with the film prices.
It's funny because I'm finally understanding the language here. When he's saying like the Portra and the, what do you say? The
and Fuji
prices kind of like...
Not really. And be my primary.
Your position changed in the past 3 years. The film prices kind of like...
Not really, because I shoot Ultramax.
Ultramax, yeah. I'm like, I don't know the first thing about film photography, but thanks to Dehancer, since I'm emulating the film looks, I've seen those words constantly. Ultramax this or
And Fuji 400, and those are pretty darn affordable. They're like half the price of Sportra. So that was my solution of dealing with the film prices, really. So here I am, still shooting.
Same old, same old.
Same old, same old, yeah.
Shooting that digital when we were on that road trip, does that make you, tempt you in any way of kind of shooting a hybrid or leaning towards digital?
A little bit. It's hard to have like a concrete decision because decisions don't matter unless you have action, but it was great to have both digital and film, and especially shooting indoors.
Yeah.
I love that part a lot, and that's a big moving factor for me. The time will come in the future, maybe as I get older, because everything is manual and more hands-on work with film. Like I need to get developed and I scan everything myself. So when the time comes, but for the time being, film is all film, yeah.
Well, we'll check in another 3 years.
Yeah, see you in 2029.
Let's go. Damn, that feels like forever for now.
Yeah, but for the time being, we're gonna have a good time, and that's what matters at the end of the day.
Let's go. Any last bits of wisdom for the people?
My last words with this great mind is always stay curious, always have a blast shooting, and do it for your heart.
Now when they see us in the streets, all they want to do is take pics.
That was good. Polly B. Well, I'm glad we discovered something. And then this is the other person Katzen Ellen Bog had recommended. Ill Concept. It was all a dream.
Is such a big city, and it's easy to fall into the habit of revisiting the same places over and over again. Lately, I've been trying to make an effort to explore the other boroughs and spend time in neighborhoods that I'm less familiar with. For the last few years, I've spent the first week of June visiting Astoria, Queens. It's become a bit of a tradition for me, returning each year for the Astoria Park Carnival. It gets pretty packed and rowdy on the weekends, so I always try to show up early on the weekdays when it's a little quieter and easier to photograph. I don't often shoot places like this, but this carnival feels special. The dance between light and shadow, the graphics, the colors, it's the kind of visual environment that I love and is increasingly difficult to find in the city. But I realized that aside from the carnival and this iconic subway station that has gotten quite popular now, that I really had no idea what the rest of the neighborhood of Astoria was like. So for this video, I decided to spend 5 days exploring the neighborhood with my camera for the first time. What I found was a place that felt a little slower paced than I'm used to, but full of character, culture, and glimpses of an older version of the city that still seems to exist there. I'm not going to explain the history of Astoria or even what I'm really doing. I'm just going to show you what I captured exploring the neighborhood, from Astoria Park Carnival to the streets beyond it. I hope you enjoy.
Okay, so that was 2 minutes and 11 seconds. Okay, I like this guy's style because this is similar to some of the YouTube videos that I've been trying to do it myself, right? Where I start with a little bit of voiceover, I talk about the context, but really I'm just here to be like, hey, watch a few clips, watch a few shots that I captured when exploring some area. Enjoy. And then he just shows it. Now, I'm doing a different style. If you've seen my most recent video or one of my recent videos on the Munich Street Photography Challenge, where I'm trying to mix in some voiceover throughout and then break down some of the photos that I captured, the moments that I experienced. Let's see if he does that. Okay, I think this is where I'm going to pause for the day, because I mentioned that my upcoming video, I'm working with my editor on it, and I'm realizing it's past 9, and I want to spend at least the next 30 minutes just kind of breaking down what he sent me. So I want to do that before it gets too late. If I go till 10 p.m. my time, it's just all of it's going to be, I'm just going to be exhausted. I'm going to wake up super late and all that fun stuff. So I think this is a good spot for me to end. Today was good because I finally got out of editing just chimps. What did we finish today? Let's see. I didn't do too many photos today. We had some good chats on the side. I did this one. So we finished editing some of the shots of the main ranger. Then we did just a few of these kind of street travel shots. And that's it. So I didn't do too many. But listen, it was a good experience throughout. Okay. All right. So today's Wednesday. Tomorrow I should be streaming again. Oh, and then on Sunday, I'm supposed to go watch The Odyssey, which I'm super excited for. Hopefully everyone's going to watch that, right? Yeah. Anyways, thank you for a wonderful stream. Happy Wednesday to you guys. I will be back very soon. I'll be back tomorrow. And hopefully tomorrow I'm going to finish all of these shots from the road, which means the next stream after that we'll be able to focus on the gorilla photos. In the meantime, I'm going to review this project. And like I said, if all is well, I hope that I'll be able to post my next YouTube video in the next 2 days or so, or at least during the weekend. So yeah, look forward to that. I hope you guys enjoy, because it'll be the first episode of this new series that I'm creating over the 2 months of travel that I did recently. So yeah. All right. My cat says thank you. We got one cat. Kimbap was here in the beginning of the stream, but then he just kind of dipped off, did his own thing. But we at least got Nala hanging out with us. So yes, Nala, good girl. All right. Thank you guys. Wonderful stream. I will be back tomorrow. So cheers, everyone.